You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Hey, everybody, McGillbilly here.
And I am Jamie.
Welcome to one more for the Good Guys podcast. If you're here for your first time, thanks.
About time.
Yeah. What you been doing?
What you been doing?
Sitting around watching apples grow. It's getting to be winter time.
Been watching Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. If you're coming back and you've been with us through this little bit of a crazy bit of a music and cigar journey, well, welcome back. If you've came out to any of the shows and or came and seen us when we're out in person with a mobile humidor, any type of support, even if you've dropped a like, any kind of support you've given us over the many years that we've been doing what we've been doing, thank you. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and follow buttons, as well as notifications. If you hit the notifications, that'll get you our videos sooner. And with the restrictions and stuff that YouTube has been doing with cigar related content, it would be pertinent for you to do so. All right. What you smoking?
I am smoking one of my all-time favorites, rediscovery of sorts, the Punch Classico Maduro in the Rothschild size. They changed the band, so it kind of confused me. But man, they come in a box of 50, and it is just man-bacco, but I don't know.
They're good.
They're just good.
They're
perfect size. I mean, they're just, I don't know.
Yeah, they're really good. I'm already started mine, and I'm gotten way down through the band and all that stuff, but I have another one laying here, smoking the Undercrown 10 by Drew Estate. Great cigar. It's the Liga Privada Killer. If you haven't tried this cigar, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't need a cosigner to buy this cigar. So, Drew Estate Undercrown number 10 in Maduro. Wonderful. One of our favorites. All-time favorites.
And both cigars are available at Good Guy Cigars 24/7. Because we have
that is correct.
E-commerce.
That is correct. So we were trying to come up with a topic about today's episode, and we decided just to share a little bit of the news with you. We have gotten there's been a lot of news over the last month about different things, and it seems that this some pieces of this news, well, I mean, every one of these articles that we're going to be talking about can have some effect.
And will
have some effect, good, bad, and or indifferent on maybe some of your favorite brands and our favorite hobby, the cigar business. So after many years, this was reported back on September 18th, Arturo Fuente Cigar Company and the Marifel family, growers of Cameroon tobacco, are no longer doing business.
Right here's the best Cameroon wrapper cigar in the world.
Ever.
And grown by the Marifel family, because this one's an older one.
Yeah, and if you have not seen our episode on the on Cameroon tobacco, we covered a whole thing about the Marifel family and the history of the Cameroon tobacco leaf. Go back a few episodes to our videos, and you can find that and or episodes if you're audio listening only. After doing business for decades, the Marifel and Fuente families are parting ways. They have been Fuente Cigar Company's primary source for Cameroon tobacco. A rare wrapper leaf Fuente uses for some of its brands, most notably the vaunted Don Carlos line, as well as the Hemingway line and the 858 line.
Which we carry all those.
Correct.
This is the Don Carlos in the number 2 right here. Correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And
wonderful.
We have them in the Robusto, and we have the Hemingway line in 2 different sizes, the short story and then the signature. And then we have the 858 in the natural in the Cameroon wrapper.
In the only size it comes.
Correct. Let's see. Marifel has been providing this Central African exotic leaf to Fuente for more than 30 years. The two families have a history together spanning 3 generations, and Marifel is incredibly proud of what they have been able to achieve for the Fuente family. Unfortunately, Fuente and Marifel have ceased trading together. We're disappointed and saddened by this, and it brings an important chapter in our esteemed history to a close. Rumors of a complete separation between the two companies started to circulate a few months back, and after Fuentes sent out a memo to retailers abroad announcing that it was ending its international distribution agreement with the Marifels. A representative from Arturo Fuente confirmed that the two companies are no longer doing business. That being said, how's that going to affect things?
Going to affect Marifel for sure.
It's definitely going to affect them. I mean, considering that the only leaf they grow is I shouldn't say that. I would imagine that's their primary leaf would be the Cameroon leaf. But, for decades, they have handled the distribution for the American market and the international market. And now it's going to be handled directly by Fuente. What does that do? What does that do to the Don Carlos and the Hemingway lines? Are they still going to make that?
Oh, have to.
I mean,
I think here's what I think the immediate thing's going to be. You're going to find another player in the Cameroon cigar market because there's going to be a lot of, already it's a rare leaf, right? Not everybody makes it because it's not as abundant as, say, Connecticut broadleaf or San Andreas or something like that. You're going to find another cigar company's going to come in there and start making Cameroon wrapper cigars. Because you're going to
go into Cameroon.
No, that's going to make a deal with Marifel. Why wouldn't they?
Well, I mean, one could say EPC, Ernest Perez Carrillo, has already done that.
Seems awful coincidental.
With his Endure line, which we smoked the Corona size in that,
which was
last Saturday. And it was fantastic. I don't know if it was better than a Fuente.
I wouldn't go that far with it, but it was certainly held up. I would smoke another one. I would buy a box of those.
But what about Fuente?
Well, I mean, obviously Fuente has got a backup plan. I mean, my God, half the stuff they make's Cameroon. Seemingly.
Well,
everything we sell is, except
that's 3 lines right there that are definite big hitters for them. I mean, the Don Carlos, the 858, and then the entire Hemingway line. I mean, we just do 2 sizes. They've got 5 different sizes in that whole line.
And obviously the whole Don Carlos line is Cameroon wrapper too.
Mm-hmm.
And they make, 4 or 5 sizes of that. I don't know. We still don't know and may never know why the split has happened. But the other big player in the cigar world that's into the Cameroon wrappers, Oliva. Does this mean that Fuente and Oliva are going to make a deal? Is Oliva getting their Cameroon tobacco from Marifel?
What about this? I have two things that who knows? I don't know.
Speculation.
This is speculation. But you got two different companies. Now, the person responsible for the Cameroon leaf over 60, nearly a little over 60 years ago now, was J.C. Newman.
Mm-hmm.
They just came out with the El Baton, not the regular production El Baton, but the firecracker for United Cigars that had a Cameroon wrapper, to the tribute of it being 60 years since Daddy Newman or Granddaddy Newman, whichever the hell one it was, brought the Cameroon leaf.
Yeah.
So, and J.C. Newman and Fuente are in cahoots with all the Diamond Crown stuff is made in Fuente's factory, as well as they handle different sales and distribution between those two companies as well, between those lines and Fuente lines. So that's a thought. And my second thought would be, would there be any chance that somebody like Aladino, who just put out last year an entire cigar of nothing but Cameroon leaf, and it was pretty damn tasty, and that is grown in Honduras. So I don't know. If we hear anything, if we get any tips, we'll be sure to let you know. But it seems like it just seems there's a lot to unpack there, and it would take somebody with a little bit more insider information than what we have to to be able to come up with it. But those are two thoughts.
Well, and two, all the breaking news says that they're ending their distribution agreement, because I'm assuming that means that Marifel is actually distributing all Fuente cigars. Is that what they're getting at? Because it doesn't specifically mention, just the Cameroon stuff. So is Fuente still going to buy Cameroon wrapper from Marifel? They're just not going to allow them to distribute?
I don't know.
That's a possibility. We don't know where the relationship has broken.
They could still be buying tobacco, and they're just going to run their distribution by themselves now.
And that could be. I know that also Marifel makes their own cigars.
I wouldn't think Marifel would want to. I don't think you'd want to lose any part of that. But if you were losing part of it, then distribution would. You would. I don't know. You would probably pick tobacco over distribution.
Since you're in the tobacco growing business, that's right? What I would think. I read some things on some forums about this today, and then the first time we talked about it, apparently the Marifel guy in charge is kind of a. Now, this is not me talking. This is me repeating. I don't know the guy. I never talked to him. Never seen him in my life.
Talked to him last week.
Did you? But apparently he's an egomaniac. So it could be, and we met Carlito. I didn't get that vibe from him. It could be,
It's those damn kids.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what Bernie Mac said?
Sure did. So anyway, mystery Mystery abounds. We don't know is the answer. But if it's a distribution agreement, that's easy. They may be charging them too much to distribute their sticks. Maybe Fuente's big enough now they can distribute their own.
Or maybe Fuente got pissed off because they're handling the distribution for somebody else that's now making a Marifel.
Or maybe Marifel's making knockoff Don Carlos and selling them for $8. I don't know that.
Yeah, I know.
But I do know that Marifel is in the cigar making business as well.
Yeah, they do make some. I would imagine they probably have a more international clientele than they probably sell more internationally than they do.
Since we've never laid eyes on one or smoked one in our life.
I've seen one.
Okay.
I've seen one or two, but at any rate. Another thing here, Joya de Nicaragua takes distribution in-house. This was back in October 2nd. It's the end of an era, but not of a friendship. Joya de Nicaragua has tasked Drew Estate with its cigar distribution since 2008. But as of next year, the agreement will conclude. Joya de Nicaragua's oldest manufacturer of premium cigars intends to handle its own U.S. distribution starting on the 1st of January. Dr. Alejandro Martinez Cuenca, chairman of Joya de Nicaragua, says that the two companies remain on good terms. This transition is not the end of a relationship. It is the natural evolution of one. He said in a press release, "We are standing on the shoulders of friendship that has helped shape who we are today. I thank Jonathan, Drew, Glenn, and the whole Drew Estate team for being a part of our story." So for nearly 20 years, Drew Estate has distributed Joya's brands, including Joya de Nicaragua, Antonio 1970, the Cinco de Cinco, and the much heralded Numero Uno cigars. Joya de Nicaragua has played a meaningful role in my life since 1998, far earlier than the beginning of our distribution arrangement 17 years ago, said Jonathan Drew, founder and president of Drew Estate. When the entire Drew Estate factory was a mere homegrown group of just 6 of us in Esteli Central, we looked up to Joya as a bright light of conviction, principle, and individuality. The admiration that each of us at Drew Estate feel for the Martinez and our Joya family is extraordinary and will never change. Drew Estate is owned by Swisher International and produces its own handmade cigars in Nicaragua, such as Liga Privada Herrera Esteli and Blacking Cigars M81 by Drew Estate.
Well, and then to this point here about Joya taking back their distribution, that sounds, maybe this is a trend. Could be a trend, with the tariffs flying around, they may be in a better position in a better country to distribute their stuff with less cost. Can't ever tell. I would imagine that this sounds a much more amicable parting than the one previous to that, though. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Joya's obviously one of our favorite.
Well, it doesn't have me worried about, are they going to still make those cigars?
Yeah, me either.
The Fuente stuff's kind of, but who knows? I mean,
I'd be willing to bet Fuente's got a backup plan.
I would imagine. I mean, surely to goodness, he would be. I mean, so. Current U.S. distributor through December 30th. Yeah, we've covered all that.
All right, so they're going to make the break at the first of the year then.
Yeah.
I've noticed that some of the wholesalers have removed Joya off of their list. And it could be that they're having to redo an agreement with Joya directly now as opposed to Drew Estate. I just noticed that today.
Yeah.
So that could be a factor right there. Let's hope they get that worked out because...
because we need more of them.
Shit, yeah, we do.
We currently carry the Antonio, Connecticut, and we currently carry the 1970 Antonio Grand Reserva.
Both fabulous.
Great cigars. And I think I've still got about 4 Unos left.
Whew, boy. Should keep making that one.
Yes, please make it again.
Go back and the much heralded numero uno, says.
Please,
heralded, they quit making it.
Please make it again.
Oh, that's, boy, that thing's good.
It is, isn't it? Now, a little more. There's several things here. There's been lots of stuff. The cigar industry sues California Attorney General. This was on October 3rd of 2025. Now, this is quite a bit longer. Well, I don't guess it is that much longer.
I studied up on this right here if you want to.
I'm going to just highlight a few things and then feel free. The cigar industry is going to battle over the right to sell cigars in California, one of the largest cigar markets in the United States. Today, Ashton Distributors, Oliva Cigar, Padron Cigars, Rocky Patel, Premium Cigars, La Flor Dominicana, Arturo Fuente, My Father Cigars, Cigar Rights of America, and the Premium Cigar Association sued Robert Andres Bonta, Attorney General of the state of California. The defendants are challenging California's new unflavored tobacco list. Now, which is funny because they were also adding a flavored tobacco list.
Which is what started this.
This. And the policy, unflavored tobacco list, and the policy of having to register and verify traditional cigars as unflavored or risk having them banned for sale in the state. These regulations set up the Attorney General as its own state-run U.S. Food and Drug Administration, demanding piles of paper and massive fees from tobacco manufacturers in order to conduct a review of each tobacco product before it goes to the market and then make a determination whether it is a flavored tobacco product, reads the suit. The layering of a new pre-market review scheme on top of the federal government's is also preempted. It is one thing, the ban the sale of certain products. It is quite another to set up a state official, frankly, with no medical or public health expertise as a parallel U.S. Food and Drug Administration, augmenting the FDA's laboratory testing and data submission process for approving the marketing of tobacco products. This lawsuit brings together some of the biggest names in cigar unified to battle for a truly important market.
Yeah. Well, California, here we go. Basically what I read and have studied is that the target was on the flavored cigars because for some reason, the powers that be in California believe that flavored cigars are being sought after and consumed by minors. Now, do we believe that? I don't believe that. Okay?
I'll tell you, they're being sought after if they're black and mild or they're Swisher Sweets and they're $3.99 a pack or how much ever the hell they are.
All right, which is a different thing altogether.
But a kid is not coming out to buy a Fat Bottom Betty or a Tatiana or an Acid or a Tayback or a Java or a Nub.
Ever.
Because they can't roll blunts with them. I mean, come on, you idiots.
And the other thing is
Friday,
it started with the vape industry. With the vapes being flavored and they're targeting children, whatever else. It's just another case of government sticking their nose where they don't belong. But here's the problem, is that, okay, in order to be exempt from the flavored list, okay, the ban, if you will, each cigar manufacturer has to go in and pay I can't remember I think it's $500 per. It's quite a bit. It might be more than that.
It's for each size.
It's for each size. So that means if Perdomo wanted to do the champagnes, he's going to have to do 9 or whatever the sizes are. It's a lot. Different sizes. And fill out paperwork and pay for each one to be on the unflavored cigar list. Okay.
Yes.
Which is just complete ridiculousness. Red tape, and what it's designed to do is to put these people out of business. Now, here's the thing that I asked somebody this the other day. I'll ask you. If your constituents, would you argue, I don't know this is for a fact, but would you argue that the more Latin Americans, people that are from or their origin is south of the border, live in California than any other state?
Of course.
Okay. So the industry that is keeping many of those countries afloat, which we've talked about on a previous episode, we're talking about Honduras, one of the poorest countries in the world, not in the Americas, period.
Yeah.
Nicaragua, all these places where there's a great video we showed the other day at an event that talks about this and how much the cigar industry has revitalized economically these areas.
Hand rolled
by providing good jobs to these folks. And your constituents
brought industry.
Yeah, I don't know what the population percentage is, but I know it's got to be higher than here. Okay. If I was the constituents, I'd be raising hell. Because now you're going to cut off the lifeline to my family that's back in Honduras or wherever the hell, that we're being able to work and eat and survive instead of living in a shanty. Probably still living in a shanty, but able to live and survive. It's complete ridiculousness, and it's based upon zero science. None.
That's the thing. That's the big thing that I get from it. CRA and Oliva Cigar Company are committed to protecting premium cigars, wherever the road leads us, says Corey Bappert of Oliva Cigar.
Bappert.
We look forward to our day in court to challenge the unfair burden put on our industry by the state of California. To our California clients, we hear you and help is on the way. Well, I mean, my goodness. What's the population of the entire state of California?
70 million.
So
I don't know. I threw that out there like I knew. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're basically, let's say it is 70, you're looking it up.
Yeah.
Rocky Patel called the California 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at, if you just have 1% that were cigar smokers of any kind, because now it's any kind. They tried to throw this through on the flavored thing, and that's what I'm telling you, people, without getting on any kind of whatevers. But if they get it done in one place, anywhere, whether it be this particular this particular thing or others, then
it becomes a snowball headed to hell. It becomes
a snowball headed to hell, and you can say, well, the hell with California. I don't give a damn about California. They're coming in here. They're moving into these, blah, 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 blah. Well, all right, peckerhead. Here's the deal. It doesn't, you don't have any concern over it now because it doesn't have anything to do with you, but wait till it comes and gets yours. So it does have something to do with all of us.
Guess what the Latino population percentage in California is?
There's no tell.
42%.
There you go.
California, I think I'd wake up a little bit.
Yeah. Rocky Patel called the California legislation arbitrary and capricious. That would amount
That's being kind. Man.
Yes. That would amount to the de facto prohibition for most cigar manufacturers and retailers. The state seeks to distinguish between flavored cigars and non-flavored cigars. However, the state of California and the Attorney General's office hastily set forth regulations to register our non-flavored premium cigars without taking the time to study, to understand our boutique industry.
Knee-jerk reaction.
The overreaching and egregious regulations simply punish the industry without just cause. The yearly cost of compliance is far too expensive for too many companies. Most companies would be forced to stop selling our legal cigars in the state of California, or at least reduce our SKUs by 50%. Cost of compliance is too time consuming, and there are much simpler and less costly ways to achieve the intended objective. So, man,
what would you say the debt of California is?
The debt? Oh,
we're always talking about the national deficit, right?
Oh, there's no, I mean,
$1.6 trillion.
I was getting ready to say it has to be something trillion.
Yeah. The average California has at least 1,600 in overdue debt. Okay. Means default. Listen, yeah, get me started. Anyway, dumb. Okay.
No,
overreach
exactly.
is government's middle name. How do you mess something up? Add government.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway, Rocky is from California. I believe. I know that he worked in California, Hollywood, so forth, as an attorney before he got into this business. So maybe he's got a little bit of pull, and you got to give it to Rocky Patel individually, because he is he might be the top cigar lobbyist in the world, especially in this country, as far as getting after and making things, people see things clearly. Unfortunate there is that that probably cannot be overridden at a federal level at all, I'd say. California, get out and vote and end the craziness, please.
Yeah. With a little bit of better news, Louisiana is to introduce a 50-cent tax cap for all premium cigars. The Bayou State, go Tigers, is set right there, Brian Kelly.
They just got beat by Vandy.
Yeah. The Bayou State is set to ease the burden on the wallets of cigar smokers. The Louisiana State Legislature recently passed HB 325, which was subsequently signed into law by Governor Jeff Landry last week. And that will institute a 50-cent tax cap on the purchase of handmade cigars. The new law will go into effect January 1st, 2026. This bill was sponsored by State Representative Marcus Bryant, a Democrat representing District 96.
And this is a perfect example right here of partisan politics. Introduced by who?
State Representative Marcus Bryant,
a
Democrat
from representing
District 96.
And what's the governor's party? Republican. See how they came together to do something correct right there? It can be done, boys, girls.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done. Just use your common sense instead of trying to pad your pockets. That's the end of my soapbox. I'm not going to talk about it until I get on this tariff thing.
Well, let's see here. Beginning January 1st, 2026, upon cigars invoiced by the manufacturer at $2,500 or more per thousand, a tax of 50 cents per cigar. This effectively means that any cigar with a wholesale price of $2.50 or more will be taxed at 50 cents and no more. Cigars of a lower value will be taxed at a 20% rate. However, as few handmade cigars sell for less than $2.50 wholesale, the end result is a tax cap of 50 cents for just about all premium cigars sold in the state.
And is it any coincidence at all that the PCA was in New Orleans this year?
There you go. Once again, the local leadership of PCA's retail partners have produced positive legislation that will benefit Louisiana small businesses and their customers alike, says Glenn Loop, the Premium Cigar Association's Director of State Advocacy. PCA also commended a group of local Louisiana tobacconists and distributors who played an important role in lobbying and advocacy efforts. PCA also provided testimonial support for the bill to the Louisiana Senate Committee. This positive development in Louisiana is yet another indicator of how the state is supporting its small business community and their patrons. And guess who just joined PCA? Good Guy Cigars. John Habrusky, PCA executive director, said currently has more of a vested interest in the state of Louisiana in particular, as it has held its annual trade show in New Orleans this year and is scheduled to return to the city next April 17th through the 20th. Louisiana is now the third state in the South to recently enact a cigar tax cap, following Arkansas and North Carolina.
Makes sense. North Carolina's the tobacco state.
Yeah.
Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
And so forth. Okay, so I guess our next topic is talking about the tariff threat to Nicaragua, right?
Yeah.
Which we've talked about earlier off the air. But so I went through this article from CA here. Nicaraguan, the Trump administration appointed Jameson Greer, which is basically his role is to lead American trade negotiations in April. They issued a report yesterday targeting Nicaraguan President Daniel Ortega and his wife, Rosario Murillo, accusing them, here's the issue, it's a Section 301 problem, which was done before, accusing them of human rights abuses and the dismantling of the rule of law in the country. Basically, trying to become a dictator. Ortega served as Nicaragua's president from 85 to 1990. And it happened then, too. Reagan administration. Bottom line is that Nicaraguan supplies 58% of the cigar tobacco to the cigar industry for the United States, which is far and away above the other New World countries and even above Cuba as far as cigar tobacco production goes worldwide. So that implication, if you've got something that hits the shore and it's $1, 100% tariff means it's $2. Okay, that will affect immediately the wholesale market because they're going to have to pay more when it hits the shore. Wholesale market's going to pass it on to the retail market, and retail market's going to pass it on to you. Of course, there's going to be part in that supply chain. There's going to be people trying to mitigate that. Okay, I went up $1 here, but I'm only going to go up 50 cents because I don't want to lose the business and whatever else. So everybody in that supply chain is going to either take a pay cut or a pay increase at the consumer level based on this. All because, listen to this, what triggered this is that Daniel Ortega, I'm going to read this right here. What happened is that Ortega basically changed the Constitution in Nicaragua to make his wife the co-president. Now, why that is, I don't know. Is he in poor health? He's got to be old. He was president in 85. That's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got to be old. My thoughts on it being an import-export business and seeing the way they throw tariffs around and what's going on here, this is basically probably a threat that basically says, listen, don't be thinking about there's going to be some kind of government takeover of this country and you're going to end up being a dictator, because if you are, we're going to tax you into non-existence. And I read here is that the trade deficit is such is that overall, big picture, now not our little picture because it's huge to our little picture, but big picture United States, Nicaragua is so small a trade partner, it doesn't affect the U.S. that much. It really affects Nicaragua because we're obviously their largest trade partner on the export side, mainly because of these. So
and it says Nicaragua's importance to the cigar world can't be overstated. Last year, Nicaragua shipped 253 million handmade cigars to the United States alone, accounting for 58.8% of all shipments. In addition, it's a major tobacco producer, and Nicaraguan leaf is used all over the cigar world.
And apparently 13 years ago, that's not that long ago, the Dominican Republic far outweighed Nicaragua. So this is something that has changed recently, relatively recently. So here it's talking about in 1985, Ortega's first term, President Reagan signed an embargo on all Nicaraguan goods, shutting out Nicaraguan cigars, rum, and other goods. And they were far more marginal supplier then, so it really didn't matter as much. But basically, it boils down to this: is that, and this is a similar thing to China: child labor, abuse of power, and the leverage is okay. If you're going to sell here, we're the biggest consumer of your goods. We're going to tax you until you do the right thing.
The only problem. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying it's most likely just right now the current tariff's 18% on Nicaraguan goods, which is relatively the same as the rest of the Central America.
That has been set in effect since August.
Yeah.
Nicaraguans cigars already face higher tariffs than those made in the Dominican Republic, which is at 10%.
Yeah. So what it will do effectively is absolutely cripple the Nicaraguan economy if this goes into effect.
Now, the shame of all of that is that the Nicaraguan people will again be the ones who have to suffer
the most, by far. Already suffering in a third world environment, right?
Yeah.
And now your biggest trade partner by far has basically said, hey, we're shutting you out effectively and doubling your expense because your leader is a dictator. That's it in a summary. Now, you know damn good and well there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know. The people at the top are their own people. They're not for the people at the bottom. I don't give a shit who's in the White House or who's in the whatever the equivalent is in Nicaragua. The bottom line is, right now, you better start buying Nicaraguan cigars. If not, they're going to double in price.
No doubt. I mean, they have to. Mm-hmm. As onerous as these threats are, Nicaragua has faced potentially worse problems from the United States in 1985 during President Ortega's first term as Nicaraguan president. President Ronald Reagan signed an embargo on all Nicaraguan goods, shutting out Nicaraguan cigars, rum, and other goods from American soil entirely. Nicaragua was a far more marginal cigar producer in the 80s than it is today, but the embargo caused companies to change their business models, with some opening up operations across the border in Honduras. The embargo was dropped in March 1990, nearly 5 years after it was signed. Cigar companies may have to adapt in the face of extreme tariffs. It is possible in the not too distant future that cigars may be bunched in Nicaragua, which is the filler and binder constructed, and then shipped to Honduras for application of the final wrapper leaf before being shipped to the United States. It wouldn't be surprising to see more Nicaraguan producers opening up operations in Honduras, like the Garcia family, makers of the My Father cigar brand. And as Nicaraguan cigars are becoming an ever larger factor in European and other international cigar shops, an extreme tariff hike would likely result in a greater proportion of those products ending up in countries other than the United States. It's uncertain if these threats will actually result in any action, even if penalties are levied against Nicaragua. It's possible they will be changed or withdrawn altogether as tariffs have been implemented, increased, and reduced again and again by the Trump administration.
It's a scare tactic, 100%. And here's what sucks about this topic and the one just before this is that with a stroke of this right here, our government, their government, any government can put you out of business. And that's too much control.
Woody Guthrie said it many years ago. You can rob a man with a pen much easier than you can with a gun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there is the news from Lake Wobegon.
Yeah.
So just not to leave on a down note, but this is stuff we need to know. It's not the popular things that we want to talk about all the time. There's certainly
but you need to be informed.
But we need to be informed, and if we're going to be a retailer and we're going to tell you all the great things about cigars, then we got to cover the other stuff too. It's probably not going to get us a bunch of clicks. It may not get us, cigars being sent in here by a manufacturer. I don't know what it'll get us, but it is true. It is happening. And if you don't know about it, or if no one is telling you about it, then shame on us for not doing our job,
our due diligence,
all the way around.
So let's make some predictions. I want to make some predictions on the 4 points we
35-19.
35-19, yeah. Here's prediction number 1. I feel like that Fuente has already, I don't think Fuente would, number 1, I think that Fuente started that and withdrew. And I've got a feeling they've already got somebody ready to supply them if they're not going to continue being supplied by Merrifield for just the Cameroon tobacco leaves. And if it's not just a distribution thing, and I got a feeling that Merrifield is going to try to increase their own cigar market in the United States. That's prediction number 1.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Prediction number 2 is that Joya de Nicaragua is going to, has probably, because we know that Drew Estate obviously does a great job in distributing products. Joya spoke very highly of them. I expect Joya to try to take a bigger market share and possibly come up with some new lines, which they're due. Really.
Yeah.
Number 3, California. One of our big suppliers is from California. That the way they're doing it now is probably not how it's going to end up, but they're definitely going to make them register and do every cigar, probably not by size. That's going to be the common ground they can meet and say, look, okay, we'll fill out your damn paperwork, but they're the same cigar. They're just different length and different ring gauges. Why do I need to fill out something?
That's what's so stupid.
It's ridiculous. It's done. It's just a way to collect more money.
Yeah.
It's just like I would call up here about some of the stuff we're doing with the mobile unit and whatever. And every time I call, it's something brand new because what we're doing is brand new.
Yeah.
And they'll joke and it's like, well, we don't know what we're going to do with that yet, but we'll figure out a way to charge you.
Yeah.
It's a running joke.
Yeah.
4th prediction is that Nicaraguan tariffs will end up probably about where they're at right now. And you'll probably end up with about 18%, but there will be a price bump. There's not really been that big of a price bump since August when they implemented the 18%. Why is it 18 versus 10 in Dominican? It shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. So those are my predictions, and for what it's worth. So
yeah, well, I don't think the whole. Now, when we read the amount, I shouldn't say it that way. When you read the number of players and who those players are in our industry that are now beginning to go on the offensive for the cigar rights of America. That I don't think that's going to have too much of a leg to stand on with the whole California thing. But as you said earlier, if it's something that can't be superseded and or overridden on a federal level, they'll do whatever the fuck they want to do.
That's exactly right. And they'll continue to put their state in bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, if you continue to do the same thing, expecting different results.
Insanity, I believe, is what they call that.
That's what they call it.
Right. Yeah. Well, folks, you heard it here first. Like I said, it's not maybe always the most popular episode, but we are doing you all a disservice. We're doing ourselves a disservice by not getting our creative side and our brains working on all this stuff and reporting some of the news. Sorry it's taken so long to break all of that. But I think that's going to be something we should keep our eye on in the future.
Absolutely.
And we should, and you know, we'll have our opinions on that, and we'll try to keep as much of that right down the middle as we can while reporting the news. We won't report opinion. Because
opinion don't mean shit anyway.
No.
It's just a fun thing to do.
Well, and simply because all of the other news outlets in what seems to be in the whole damn wide world, other than maybe the BBC or NPR, does report opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and we're not, you know, getting in all that either, but we'll report the news and we'll say our 2 cents worth on it and what we think. By no means will that make us right, wrong, or indifferent. So,
and the other thing we'll do is we'll continue to shop and shop and shop to make sure that we mitigate these price increases that we know are coming.
We'll do everything we can.
Yep.
You know, because at the end of the day, we still got to sell cigars, and we got to, we want to try to help people that love this hobby and get the best deals they can, and you know, take care of ours and yours and all that other stuff. So,
all right.
You want to do another one?
Sure.
Folks, you heard it here first. Be kind. Doesn't cost a dime to be kind, but there's always a price to be paid for cruelty. So, you heard it here first. That's one more for the good guys. See ya.
I'll be gone in the morning before the sun comes up, with me and my weenie dog and my pickup truck. Either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find. I said, now either way, baby, a good man, it's hard to find.